Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our Saturday live question and answer class. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat at any time, and I'll answer them for you live. You can ask about pronunciation of words, American accent, intonation, rhythm, anything that will help you to improve your overall fluency and pronunciation in American English. At the start today, I want to talk about two words, bird and beard. This was a recent request from a viewer, and they wanted to know the difference between the sounds in these words. So let's break down the sounds we have in bird, the vowel and beard, the diphthong ear. We can help you to say both of these correctly, and we'll talk a little bit about the spelling, etc. Again, do feel free to leave questions about this topic or any topic in the chat, and I'll come to those after we talk about bird and beard. So the word bird, the letters IR say the vowel. This is basically the same as the R sound in other parts of words, but in American English, is how we say letters ER at the ends of words, and also this sound in the word bird. It can be spelled with ER, IR, UR. There's lots of different ways to spell it. So having in your mind a way of thinking of the sound, I typically write it as ER for my thinking because of words like person and her. But of course it's spelled other ways. What you want is to know that you're just saying that basic sound. The dictionary will show it with a schwa and an R, or it may show it with this symbol for a tense sound. It's one sound though. When I'm saying bird, there's no movement, it's not gliding, it's not a diphthong. So it's the same sound in early, heard, and you can use other words with the sound. For example, I heard a bird. So here, is spelled with EAR, very confusing. What you want to do is develop your ear to listen for that sound, and also to get consistent with using a dictionary to know where the is in a word. So my sound is my tight back R, no gliding of the tongue. When we say the word beard, here the letters EAR say the ear sound. Again, confusing because in the dictionary this looks like bird. You may also see it written like this in the dictionary for ear. I think of ear as EAR, like my ear, like fear, near. We can also spell it with ERE, like in here. And so using a sentence like, I feared a beard, you can think of that ear diphthong. That one does glide. So whereas is static and doesn't move, ear, we're gliding into that sound from more of a tense E or lax I sound. Ear, beer. We also have the word beer with EER. So usually ear is spelled EAR, EER. There are a few places where it's spelled another way. Weird is another example with EIR. So really you need to focus in on the sounds and hear that we have the ear sound here and the sound here. That's why words like bird and beard, that can be a difficult contrast. I do have a video talking about all of the different R diphthongs, ear, air, ire, or, etc. Several videos for that as well. All of those videos can be found on our American R playlist, and you can also leave a comment on this video or any of my videos asking me where to find more information about those types of things, and you can check those out for more detailed help there. I also do go through all of the sounds of English, all of the ear, air, or sounds, R sounds, and all of the sounds of English in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com. It's going to walk you through details of the sounds and spelling, how to look them up in the dictionary, what accent error patterns to watch out for on these sounds, and it has a lot of contrast videos for words like ear, bird, and beard, etc., so that you can hear and compare those sounds. Check that out on our website, speechmodification.com. That's our Sounds of English course. I also lastly want to mention that I do have a playlist for minimal pair words or contrasting words like bird and beard Oftentimes people struggle with these words, but they can be very helpful in differentiating sounds, understanding spelling, and correcting accent error patterns you may have. So check that out on our channel page. Look for the playlists section, and you can see that. It's called minimal pairs or contrasting words. Okay, thanks so much for that request. Again, that came in a while ago from a viewer. I'm working my way through all of the viewer requests in our Word of the Day series and also in the topics that we start with in this Saturday class. Now I'll turn to your questions. If you're watching this later as a replay, you can leave your question or request in a comment. If you're here live, do feel free to use the chat to ask whatever you might like. Okay, welcome everyone. It's nice to see all of you here today. We have a question. Let's see. Ashish, you didn't say what word you wanted me to pronounce. Oh, aggregate. Yes, sorry. So yes, let's turn to aggregate. Aggregate. Aggregate has first syllable stress, and letter A says the A sound, like in cat or black. And then two G's that just say the G sound, agra. Because this middle syllable is unstressed, we have a schwa there for letter E. And again, aggregate, another schwa for our final vowel because it's also unstressed. So it sounds like aggregate. Git or gut. Just to make sure you're using a reduced vowel for that last syllable. So the aggregate. Aggregate. Yeah, good word. Thank you. It does look like something where if we had, for example, the same spelling, G-A-T-E, in the word gate, the E would make the A say its name. Because it's in an unstressed final syllable, it sounds more like git or gut. Aggregate. Okay, thank you for that request. We have a question about people saying, what do you got? So rather than what do you have? So you're saying you hear people say, what do you got? And that's definitely incorrect, and it's not colloquial English. It's just bad grammar. We might say, what have you got? What have you got? That I hear people say, what have you got? But not what do you got? So what have you got is okay. What do you got? Not correct. So either what do you have or what have you got? These are both correct. And this is definitely a common phrase for English speakers. Thank you for that request and that question. We have a question about whether these phrases sound the same. I said it and I said it. Yes, they do. So I said it and I set it. We don't say set it like I just did. We naturally link that and it'll sound like a flap. So both of these are linked. I said it, I said it. And said has the F vowel as well as set having the F vowel. The F vowel. The only difference is in I said it, I said it. The said it is going to be fairly short on this vowel for a shorter duration. I said it, I said it. We might hold this slightly longer, but generally speaking, these two sound exactly the same in fluent speech. Great. Thank you for that question. We have a question about the combinations of S and Z to S. For example, quiz seemed or likes zebras. Does one sound dominate the other? Well, let's try that out. So in she likes zebras, she likes zebras. In connected speech, she likes zebras. The Z is gonna dominate because I need to start that word zebras with a strong voiced Z sound. She likes zebras. If I'm being really clear, I'm gonna use both. She likes zebras, make a little break so that you can hear the S and the Z. But if I'm running it together in fast speech, she likes zebras. The S is gonna be pretty quick and the Z is gonna be a little bit longer. In reverse, quiz seemed. The quiz seemed easier. So this quiz seemed. Quiz seemed. I would say, again, the Z is plenty strong. You need to make sure you have that voicing there. This quiz seemed. And we're naturally, as we finish, if I just say this quiz, you can hear how I naturally devoice at the end of my Z, and that S is there. It's like Z, quiz seemed. When I link these two together, you'll hear both the Z and the S. But you have to make sure that you don't want the S to dominate, because you don't want quiz seemed. So again, the S can be fairly short and they link together. And here the S is kind of dropping. So I'd say Z probably dominates when the S and Z are next to each other. As you could tell, I had to say that a number of times and hear it and feel what's happening there. Because those sounds are similar placement. The only difference, of course, is voicing, that they are definitely going to naturally link together. Great question. Thank you so much. Ashish wants to also know about aggravate. So aggregate, we remember had the it at the end, but then aggravate, now we have secondary stress on the vate syllable. So we again have our aggra, but now we have the A vowel here, aggravate. So first syllable still stressed, but in the dictionary you're going to see that first syllable stress mark, aggra, and then a secondary stress on vate. So you'll see the clear vowel A. So here the letter E does make A say its name, aggravate. The aggregate aggravates me. Okay, good. And let's see. We have a question about how to pronounce draw and law. Draw and law. So both of these have the ah vowel. I call that one the caught law vowel. What you want for ah is that your mouth is a little bit fairly open and that there's a little bit of lip rounding. Ah. So I draw something. I draw it. The law. I saw the law. In some places in the U.S., this ah vowel has merged with our ah vowel. So you will hear some speakers move a little more towards la instead of law. The difference there, la is very open and unrounded. Law, my jaw is a little more closed and there's a little bit of lip rounding. I recommend going with the ah if you can use it. Just make sure that you're not too far back in the throat. You don't want law, but law. You can check out my videos about the vowels. You'll see that we have the ah vowel open and unrounded. The ah vowel is a little more closed and it falls in the rounded section with o and and oo. So check out my vowels playlist to get more help with this ah vowel. I do have a video just about ah. And then again, in our Sounds of English course, we'll walk you through all of the vowels, how they're spelled, and the differences, contrasts, and minimal pairs, and help you to establish and hear and produce those ah and other vowel sounds correctly. Okay, thank you. That's a good request. All right, we have a question about the name, let's see, a question about the word asphyxiation and emancipation, what to stress. So I do have a video for emancipation. If you check out my video for Juneteenth, it's about Juneteenth and emancipation. In emancipation, it follows the rule of all words ending with shun, that they're stressed on the syllable before shun. So in emancipation, we're stressed on pay. It sounds like emancipation. So if you think about communication, nation, emancipation, that is one consistent pattern that we always stress the syllable before the shun. Often it's an A, but it can also be something like an I, like ambition, condition. There we stress the second to last syllable before the shun. And then same thing with asphyxiation. Again, ation gets stressed, asphyxiation. Okay. We have a question about noticed it. So that was today's video that was released early for our channel members. In noticed it, we link those together. So it's your question was whether it sounded like noticed it, and it would be the same, yes, as noticed it. However, these T's are going to be flapped. So they're going to sound more like D's in American English. So it sounds like noticed it. Noticed it. I noticed it last week. Yeah, hopefully that helps you. And if you didn't see our video earlier this morning on notice it and noticed it, you can check that out. But it sounds to me like maybe you watched that and needed a little more help. So hopefully that clarified it for you. Okay, and we have a question about the word boycott and whether it sounds the same as a boy was caught. And in this case, no, it doesn't. Boycott has the ah vowel, so that sounds like caught. It's also stressed on boy, boycott, versus a boy was caught would be stressed on caught, and that has the ah vowel, like caught. Or the boy caught a fish. So different vowel, and depending on the usage, different stress. Boycott, stressed on boy. Great. Okay. We have a question about what word to stress in Chat GPT. Whenever we have an acronym that has letters, we stress on the last one. So if you think about something like USA, NBC, etc., our pattern is to go fast, fast, long. We stretch on the last letter sound. So the same rule would hold for Chat GPT, where the GPT is stressed on the T. We might have some stress on chat as well, because it's a full verb. It's kind of unusual to have an acronym together with a word like this. So I would say you would stress it as Chat GPT, kind of a break between the two, Chat GPT. But T would have probably just as much stress as chat. So probably two stresses in that phrase. I believe I may have covered that in a video recently, but if not, that would be a good one, because of course there's a lot of chatter about ChatGPT. Okay, we'll take a couple more requests and then we'll wrap up for today. We have a question about the word mustache. Sometimes people will say mustache with second syllable stress. More common in English is first syllable stress. We have a vowel schwa here, the sound. Mustache. Letter A says the sound, and letters CH, E say the sh sound. So it sounds like mustache. Mustache. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Really interesting variety of requests from everyone today. Nice to see so many of you here. And do check out our Sounds of English course and our other playlists for help for some of the details of what we were talking about at the beginning today, and also your questions. If you're watching this later on, you can leave a comment and a request, and I'll get back to you either by covering your word in a future Word of the Day class, or if I've already covered your word or have resources for you, I'll send you a link to the video where you can get help for that. It's so nice to see so many of you here. Each week on Saturday, we have this live question and answer class. And of course, every day I have my daily word of the day videos, as well as sometimes we have bonus additional videos each day. So check out on our channel page to see recent videos. You can also use the search tools on the channel page if you're looking for something in particular, but probably the easiest way is to leave me a comment and I'll direct you to those resources. Next Saturday for the holiday weekend, July 4th weekend, I won't be having class, so I will see you next in 2 weeks on July the 8th. Thanks everyone for being a part of class today and watching the video. I do appreciate your support. It's wonderful to have so many of you have subscribed to the channel and joined as channel members. A special shout out and thank you to you. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye everyone. Hope to see you again soon.